Hello, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. So imagine, if you will, that it is a couple weeks after an event, right? You know, the world as we know it has ceased to exist for whatever reason. You've survived, and now people are starting to pop their heads back up, and life is starting to become the new normal. Right? It's a without rule of law, but there are rules, you know, and people are going to quickly make rules that they have to live by, which is maybe another video for another time. But hey, life is starting to happen again, and for whatever reason, because of your lack of preparedness, you need some medicine, right? Somebody in your crew, if they don't have this medicine, is going to die, or your goat, your milk goat is going to die without this injection of vitamin, what is that, B12 or something. All right, you don't have any of this, so what are you going to do? You could, a couple weeks later, show up with some money. And for the purposes of today's video, I'm kind of doing $30, right? So you've got $30 in cash, and you find out that Farmer Bob up the road has some medicine left over from his Aunt Matilda, who died, and she doesn't need it anymore, and he's willing to trade it or sell it or whatever, and you show up with dollars after the world has gone crazy. Do you think he's going to take those dollars for that medicine? I don't know. You know, I'm thinking maybe a day or three after an event he might, but when it looks like this isn't coming back, he might not be real interested in dollars. What about silver? $30, about $30 worth of silver. And coincidentally, that's about $30 worth of meds right there. You think he'd take silver for it? He might. You know, he could be thinking long term, I want to store up some silver. But what if you're sitting there bargaining and you offer him dollars and he says, no, I'm not really interested. You throw out a couple silver rounds and he starts thinking about it. And then somebody else shows up and they say, hey, dude, I've got some 9mm and some 308. Let me get that out of there. That's in there tight. Wow. That I'll trade you for that medicine. Which one do you think Farmer Bob's going to be more likely to trade for? I mean, look at this right here. This is breakdownable. You can break this down into 50 units. You can break that down into 20. So we've got 70 units here that we can break down into $30 worth of stuff. Here I've got 2, and here I've got some bills. I don't know. I'm thinking he might go for the ammo. Now, people say, oh, you never want to barter with ammo because it could come back at you. It could. I guess it depends on who you're bargaining with, who you're bartering with, what you want to use. But it's something to think about. I think that saving silver or counting on silver to barter with in the end times, I'm not so sure about that as far as bartering goes. Maybe buying big things, because, you know, this will be worth more than $30, but then again, so will this. This, I'm thinking, you know, it's not even really good toilet paper. Probably not so much. I have a video already done on before you buy PMs. I'll put a link to it down in the comments when I get to a Wi-Fi spot. I suggest you look at that when you're considering PMs. Think about other things you can barter with. Just here on my table, I'm looking at this. Whoop. What about salt? You know, the human body needs salt to live, and once you start eating wild foods and you know, beans and rice and stuff you stored up instead of processed food, there's no salt in it. You're going to need salt. Where are you going to get salt? Salt right now is really cheap. This isn't as cheap, but those 1-pound salt containers, they're really cheap. That would be a good barter item. What about lamp oil and wicks? You got enough of those? Do you think your neighbor does? You know, these lamps are really cheap at Walmart right now. Like, what are they, sweetie? $3? How much is one of these oil lamps?
Yeah, between $3 and $5.
$5, right? You think somebody would barter for that? I'm telling you, you offer somebody light in their house for somebody who doesn't have it, and all of a sudden, that might be a better deal than that. They need light. They could use ammo. There's a difference. What about spices or coffee? There, Pastor Joe drinks instant coffee, and he drinks it black. What about that, though? People who are out of coffee. You think they'd want to trade you for some coffee? For something they don't really want? I think they might. But here's the other thing. I don't think you should stock up on barter supplies until you have everything else taken care of. But you should consider some of the things you have using as barter supplies, like ammo, maybe silver, maybe lamp oil. But until you take care of everything else, stocking up on barter supplies is not a good idea, because if you don't have ammo, but you're stocking up on silver to buy ammo after the event, who's to say anyone's going to be selling ammo or trading ammo? All right, things to think about. What's more valuable? I'll see you out there.